morning. Welcome to this morning's edition of the MPC Markets Morning Call. I'm Mark Gardner. It's 23rd of February, 2026. Plenty happened overnight, on Friday night. There was a fair few market-centric announcements, etc., and a lot going on the fringes. Obviously, the Supreme Court overturned the tariffs, or Trump's ability or power to enforce those tariffs by to a margin of 6-3. We had some private credit issues going on with Blue Owl. We had the cybersecurity sector's turn for agentic AI to be a massive threat. And then over the course of the weekend, Trump's re-announced 15% tariffs as well. But despite that, stocks finished higher by about 0.8% in the S&P, really focused around the Mag 7 overall, although it was broadly fairly positive, as you can see here on this market map. We had slowing growth, mainly attributed to the shutdown. So advanced GDP quarter on quarter was forecast at 2.8, came in at 1.4. Core PCE, although, despite that, Core PCE came in higher than expected, at 0.4, expected at 0.3. So some manufacturing data came out as well. They were still in expansionary territory. Manufacturing and services PMI flash both were 51.2 for the manufacturing PMI, and flash services PMI was 52.3. So lower than expected, but still in an expansionary territory. It's above or below the 50 mark is the key thing there. And look, I think the market did extraordinarily well to hold in there and pull a positive result, considering all the things that are going on in the market. But there hasn't really been too much talk in terms of whether tariffs will be having to be refunded, or whether there's any lawsuits that are going to come from this from companies, etc. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. But they've used. Trump's used another loophole essentially to reinitiate them anyway. So we'll have a little bit of uncertainty coming into the Monday session, and not to mention the Secret Service managed to catch a guy at Mar-a-Lago, an armed man as well. So I think that's the second one I can remember in recent times. And we've still got bubbling along in the background. We've still got the military build up in the Middle East around Iran, and which that sort of sent most of most of the precious metals higher on Friday as well. So be mindful that China was shut last week, and supposedly they've been the massive buyers of precious metals. So we'll be looking to see if there if there's any return to on the bid side. But gold was up 1.2, silver up 5, platinum up nearly 5 as well, copper up 1.2, uranium small win, Bitcoin a small win as well. So and currencies were largely unchanged. Iron ore has been shut essentially for the last week, or the figures that we pull from. So we'll just keep an eye on that as China comes back into the market as well. So we've got a little key. I've done something similar to this before, but key catalyst or risk monitor. So we've got Blue Owl. CoreWeave was smashed on the back of Blue Owl, who are a funds manager / financial services company. They were involved in funding CoreWeave's CoreWeave data center project worth about $4 billion. There are concerns around that, but there's also concerns around a Blue Owl private credit fund with about $1.7 billion in it, a retail fund that where redemptions have been stopped. You're not allowed to take your money out. And that just Blue Owl generally at the moment is causing a little bit of concern. So that cost CoreWeave about 12% on Friday. Anthropic agentic AI threat to SaaS and cyber is just still ongoing here at the moment. And then we've got some AI earnings tests this week, with particularly with Nvidia, I believe, sort of in midweek. So geopolitics-wise, we've still got that military build-up around Iran. In terms of Trump, look, the Supreme Court decision on the legality of tariffs is now done. new Trump tariffs just step into its place, but also those GDP and PCE numbers. So, the PCE is the inflation indicator that the Fed prefers most. Basically, it's showing sticky inflation and slower growth, which technically is stagflation, which is not a good thing overall as well. So, look, it is very much a bit of a wait and see thing here today. We haven't got futures prices just yet, but I would imagine we would be, there'll be a little bit of a shaky session for Monday potentially. Aussie earnings. We got Ampol, so their EBIT was in line. NPAT was a slight beat. The Lytton refinery was a beat. Convenience retail was in line, and they reduced their leverage as well. So look, they swung back into meaningful profitability on the Lytton refinery. The convenience retail, which has been the concern, rose 4.8. Tobacco is now only 16% of shop sales. Fuel and infrastructure EBIT doubled to $405 million. And they flagged a strong start to the year with the convenience retail and New Zealand benefiting from higher retail margins and stable volumes. So overall, it looks like they should have a good day. It's been a bit of a weird earnings season. So. But broadly, a little bit of a recovery story, starting to get a little bit of traction for Ampol there. Other earnings, there was Lendlease and Kogan, and a few smaller ones. There's a bit of a lack of major earnings this week. I think the big day will really be WiseTech and Fortescue on Wednesday. And then we will get NVIDIA and Salesforce. That'll be Thursday morning, so that'll be after the bells. So we've got a whole raft of Fed speakers for early on in the week. I think there's at least three nearly every night for 3 nights in a row. We get our CPI numbers here, and then an evening speech from Michelle Bullock as well. So she'll be able to, I'm sure she'll be commenting on that. So that'll be pretty big for our market in terms of interest rates. And then fairly important PPI numbers on Friday, given that mildly concerning rise in PCE, but the drop off in growth overall. So and like I said, NVIDIA is a pretty massive test. It's been the tentpole of this AI rally for quite some time. I dare say, and also Salesforce being one of the early AI monetizers and one of the victims of the absolutely savage SaaS sell-off. I think all eyes will be on that pretty firmly as well. So there'll be an interesting week, and there'll be certainly some more developments on the Iran situation, I would imagine, as that military build-up continues. So you can get all this on Mosaic. Just scan the QR code there. You'll get your first month free, or you can go to mosaic.mpcmarkets.com.au. It's all content, podcast, education, news, all of our earnings updates, both US and Aussie, like we've been doing. There's 4 recommendation services, but all the content and podcast, education, news is on the free version, and you can pay for the stock recommendation services and the premium stuff that is very market centric or market urgent. So it's pretty cheap, and it's available on desktop, Apple, and Google Play. Less than a coffee a day. So look, I hope everyone has a great day, and we will speak again tomorrow. General advice warning. The content presented in this presentation is intended for informational purposes only and provides general advice only. It does not take into account your personal objectives, financial situation, or specific needs. This information should not be the sole resource when making investment decisions. We strongly recommend you seek the advice of a financial professional.